As a wife, mom, HR leader during the day, HR leader in the evening running this business. 2024 has been a whirlwind of a year. And we're halfway through the middle of the year, almost. We're halfway through the year, and I feel good about where I am, and I've learned a lot. So, in this video, I want to tell you the top 5 things that I've learned so far this year and things that I think are going to help you as you are navigating your HR career as well. So, if you're not new to my corner of the internet, you know the drill. Get something to write with, something to take your notes down with. I've got my notes here to keep me on track, because I really want to make sure that as we go through this conversation, that you jot down anything that resonates mostly with you. So as an HR leader, you've been in HR for a few years, you're navigating your career as successfully as you can, but there's still some things that you want to dive into, so some things you feel are missing, and that's why you watch videos like this. So I create videos that I wish that I had when I was coming up in my career. And I think it's important to find people that you can resonate with, people that you want to listen to. And also, again, it's helpful to get your information from someone that you trust, someone that has been where you've been. And if I can be that person for you, I'm happy to do it. So in this video, again, we're going to talk about things that I've learned so far this year, things that you may have also learned. And I want to just make sure that you get these things to help you as you go to continue to navigate your career. So, the first thing, that this isn't anything that I've learned, but it's something that I have remembered. So, if you're again not new to my corner of the internet, I'm all about making sure that you've got a plan. It's easier to get somewhere if you know where you're going. And when you're going places and if you're doing things and you're just doing it with no plan, it's easy to end up somewhere, but it might not be where you intend to. So I'm all about having a plan. But I also know that the plans are not to be made with a marker or with a pen. Plans are meant to be written in pencil. And so that's one of the biggest lessons that I've been taking out of this year. At the beginning of the year, if you would have told me that the middle of the year would have come and the things I'm experiencing in my day job, in my business, in my with my kids, if you would have told me that these are things that I would be experiencing, I probably wouldn't have really thought that it would happen that way. Not that things are going badly, it's just things are going differently than how I anticipated it. So even on my day job, I have great plans that were laid out for the beginning of the year that were going to run for 2024. I did it for 2023, did it for 2022, did it for 2021. And even though I've had to kind of pivot my plans just because of things that happen outside of my control, it's just a great reminder that even your best plans are meant to be written in pencil. So whatever it is you're working on, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, when things don't go your way, find ways to not be rigid in your plans, not to be inflexible. That's one of the great things about being a leader, and that's one of the most key skills that you need to be a successful leader. You have to be flexible. You got to be able to adjust to the things going on around you, because again, when you're dealing with people and things that are important to people as an HR leader, things will never go 100% according to plan. That's just the name of the game. So the sooner you learn to accept that, the sooner you'll learn to get through things successfully. For me, if I was so rigid in my plans, expecting my plans to be exactly as I written them out, I would be feeling defeated right now. I would be feeling so overwhelmed, so stressed out, not knowing which way to turn. But for me, again, with me being so grounded in my faith, that keeps me grounded. My family keeps me grounded. And my plan, while it's not laying out 100% as I plan to on my day job, I still see where I'm going. And I just see there's more of a pivot of how to get there. But again, as you're putting things together on your day job, if you do not have a plan written out, you need to have one written out. If you've not already gotten my HR optimization plan for your department, make sure you get that free download. I'll drop it down below for you. But you want to make sure you have a plan laid out so that when things happen, not if things happen, when things happen that knock you off of your path, you still have a way to get back to what you know is your top priority. So my next thing I want to make sure that you remember is the way that we respond to things is just as important as the things that we do and the things that happen to us even. So for example, it's kind of related to the very first point. So when things don't go your way and when things don't go my way, we all have a choice. We can decide to be defeated, to be deflated, to feel you just completely crushed by things that's going on around us. But the way you respond to things tells me a lot about how successful you're going to be in the future, if I'm completely honest. So even in my day job, I see conversation I have with people, and sometimes you're used to getting a yes, and then every now and then you're not going to get a yes, and that's completely fine. But I like to see whether I'm working with my clients, whether I'm working with my kids, whether I'm working with my team, even with myself, I need to see how are you going to respond when things don't go your way? Like Brittany, when things don't go your way, when your back is against the wall, what are you going to do? So ask yourself that same question. The last time that something did not go your way, what did you do? Did you throw a tantrum? Did you find your way out of it? Did you just sulk for too long? Like, did just continue to keep this in mind. I'm a firm believer that when things don't go your way, how you respond is who you are. That's who you are from an integrity standpoint. Everyone can be a pleasant person to be around. Everyone can be nice and positive and upbeat when things are going great. But when things are not going great, that's who you are. And I like to be around people for so long that I can see who are you when your back is against the wall. And again, it's not that we have to be with a smile on our face all the time. It's not that we have to not see negative things that are happening. It's not even that you can't be sad from time to time. But we can't stay down. We can't continue to be depleted and deflated and to just feel ways to just bring everyone else around us down. It's draining to be around people who are that way, and it's liberating when you're no longer around them. So again, you've got to find ways to, if you recognize that about yourself, like as I'm saying this, if you're like, okay, Brittany, step off my toes. If what I'm saying to you is starting to hurt your feelings in a way that you feel, okay, well, maybe you don't take criticism well, maybe you don't um maybe you don't take rejection well, maybe you don't, take feedback that's not going exactly how you want it to be. If that's an area where you need to improve, then that's something you need to know about yourself and be really reflective and find ways to overcome that issue. Again, when I like to work with my clients, the clients that I work with that are, I was just telling my husband this the other day, the people that I work with are not lukewarm. Like they're not like, oh, Brittany, I kind of want to work with you, but I'm not quite sure. No, the people who want to work with me are people like, yes, you're my person. I talked with someone the other day. She said, "You're my person. I want to work with you because you've been where I am. Because you know how to think. You know what I need. You built the tools to help me to be successful." And those are the people that I like to work with. Those are the people who are very reflective, who are very aware of what they need, who are very aware of what they want to do. And that's who I was. That's who I am. So again, like attracts like. And if that sounds like you, where you feel that where you feel that I'm your person, you watch all my videos, you're on my email list, you're responding to my emails. If that sounds like you need to be included in my community, the HR Leadership Library, and we can learn more about that on another video. But again, what I'm talking about right now are the lessons that I've learned, and it's kind of all coming full circle because the plans that I'm always talking about that you need to have is so critical. But when your plan does not go well, you got to know how you're going to respond to that as well. So that's super, super important. The the third lesson. So, like I said before, on my day job, there's a lot of things that are going on that have taken me off my path that I set at the beginning of the year, but it's still going well. Like I can't ask for things to be any more great than they are. And one of the conversations I have with my CEO very often, he and I talk about it, because he heard from, I think, one of his prior pastors or whatever. And it's a quote that I continue to think about often this year. And he said, either God is in everything or God is in nothing. And when I heard that the first time, I had to really sit with it because it's true. Like either God is in everything or God is in nothing. And I always tell myself, like, nothing in life is ever wasted. I started as an intern and I had to work my way up. And yes, that was a difficult thing for me to do in my career, but it's not wasted. All the things that I've learned, all the tools that I've gathered, all the things that taught me to be successful and resourceful are the things that are equipping me to help people who were once in that place. I'm helping them be successful. So nothing in life is ever wasted. But we also can't pick and choose what God is in. Like we can't say, okay, well, everything that's going on in my personal life that's great, God is in all of that, but all these other things, God is not in that. That doesn't make any sense. Either he's in everything or he's in nothing. So if that resonates with you, write that down. I want to make sure that you get that. We've got to remember that even when things are not going our way, even when we don't understand why things are happening, how things are happening, even how we're going to get through it, we still have to understand, especially if you're faith driven as I am, we have to understand that God is in everything or God is in nothing. We cannot decide which it is. It's got to be one or the other. So I hope that that blesses you the way that it blessed me the first time that I heard it. The fourth thing I want to make sure that we all do, and I'm learning this lesson even more so this year, it's so important to be quiet and to be still enough to notice when things are happening around you. And what I mean by that, I talked about this in one of our after hours calls, I think back in May, I think it was. But I stopped the end of the call and I was like, hey, I just want to share this with the room. And I wasn't sure if it was gonna come off like in left field, but they really resonated with it. And I won't go into the full details of the story that I shared with that group. But essentially, I was talking about the fact that when I was driving into work one day, I had a feeling, like a memory. You know how we're just going to the store or you're driving down the road or you're just doing something you always do, and every now and then you just get these flashbacks, these memories. Memories come in and out of our minds, and I had this memory. It just popped into my head and I was like, why am I thinking about that? It was just such a random memory. It didn't make sense at the time, but I remembered it. And then later on at work something happened and it made me think back to that memory, and it gave me pause, it made me pause, and I didn't walk into that situation. And I'm not saying anything bad would have happened if I would have walked into that situation, but what I'm saying is it made me stop and reassess, okay, so what am I going to do now? And I say all this to say it might not make sense, but I hope you're resonating with this. What I'm saying is to say, if you are getting deposits in your mind, if you have feelings, if just like if someone is on your mind all of a sudden or on your heart to give that person a call, you ain't call that person in weeks or months, give that person a call. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what that person is praying about. It's so powerful because there's been several times this year where I've had a conversation with someone, and prior to that conversation, I've had conversations with myself, some things that were not even spoken, some things that were just internal conversations or prayers to God, or prayers just in my head, in my mind, in my heart, and having conversations with people, and their conversation is literally verbalizing or confirming what I was either confused about or seeking guidance on, or making sure I was on the right path. Even with what I do for on this channel specifically, if you're watching this video, you see my views. I have 5 views here, 20 views here, 30 views here. And sometimes I wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Did God really call me to do this? Is this really what I'm here to do? And then I have these conversations with members of the community, and they're like, yes, this is what we need. This is why we need it. I'm so grateful that you're doing this. And so it really helps me to kind of confirm, even when I feel that I'm not quite on the right path. So what I say here is the lesson I'm giving to you is be still and quiet and aware long enough that you can pick up on these things. Like, as crazy as my year has been, if I'm just moving so quickly from one thing to the next and I'm not being clear on what my desires are, what my frustrations are, what my doubts are, what's on my heart, I could be having these conversations that could really give me the answers, or really, someone got deposited into them what I needed to hear, and vice versa. If I'm not sensitive to things going on around me, I'm going to miss it. So if you're not sensitive to what's going on around you, you're going to miss it. So what I'm saying here is be still, be quiet enough, be aware enough to the things that's going on around you. Even some things that are so could seem so insignificant. Things like, I remember being so new in my career, and I would have to like file documents, and I'm like putting documents in files, and I would just take out like a stack of gym clips or a stack of whatever, and I would set it on the table. And if I was going through the papers and I had the exact number of gym clips that I needed for the exact number of papers, to me, that was like confirmation, like, okay, Brittany, you're on the right path. And in that moment, I will stop in that moment and say to myself, thank you, Jesus. I trust you, Jesus. So it's just like those moments, like just being still, being clear, being aware of what's going on around you has blessed me so much and kept me grounded in my career. I pray that blesses you as well. And then the fifth thing I want you to remember here, and I'm learning this, I put this in my email I sent out last week. Don't pray and don't wish and don't hope for things to get better. Pray for you to get better. Don't pray for things to get easier. Pray for you to get stronger. Pray for you to be more impactful, more capable. So just like I said, this year has been crazy for me. It's been crazy, but in a good way. Like these are good problems. These are not, things could be so much worse, and everything is relative. But I feel that my prayer for this year was not for my life to necessarily get easier, because I'm doing a lot of things and I know what it means to burn the candle at both ends. I'm with my husband and I, we're raising 3 kids that are all in elementary school, so they're young. They need us. I'm working full time. I'm an instructor for SHRM. So I've got in-person classes, I've got virtual classes, I've got day-long classes, I've got evening classes. I've got this YouTube channel. I'm on LinkedIn. I got so many things I'm working on. I'm active in my church. I play the piano. So I got so many things going on in my life. And so my prayer has not been for things to get easier. Because if things get easier, then maybe something has to come off the plate. And if I'm not willing to take anything off my plate, then the only thing that can change is me. Like if I'm not willing to change the plate, then I've got to change myself. And so that means I need to do the things that I know I need to do. So if I know I've got a jam-packed week, which my weeks have been jam-packed, is when one thing after the next, I know if I'm prone to migraines, which I am, I know what I need to do to maintain my health in a positive way. I need to make sure I'm drinking my water. I need to make sure I'm eating as well as I can, moving as much as I can, because I'm not really a big exerciser. I need to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep, because again, I'm doing so many things and I'm working, it feels all hours of the day and night. I've got to make space to spend time with my family as well. So I know there's so many things I've got to do to pour into myself. I do a lot of pouring out into other people, but I know that I got to pour into myself as well. So again, my prayer has not been to let things to be easier. My prayer has been for me to become stronger. And it's really blessed me to have that prayer earlier in the year before I knew what the need was for the year. And then after the year has gone, I'm seeing how things are moving. I should not, I'm not going to say I should not. I'm surprised that I feel as well as I do right now. Knowing how my calendar looks, knowing what my days require, I feel great. And that's not anything that I have done in my own strength. Again, I'm grounded so much in my faith. And I really want to impress upon you that whatever you're going through, whatever challenges you're facing, whether it's personal, whether it's family, whether it's on your job, don't pray for things to get easier, because then there might be something that you'll have to let go of, that you're not quite ready to let go of. Instead, pray for you to get stronger. So if that means you need to build a new skill, if that means you need to double down on your health and keeping that organized, if that means that you need to find ways to continue to pour into yourself so that you don't feel like you're depleted at the end of the day and at the end of the week, you need to decide what that is for you. But again, these are my 5 lessons that I've learned so far this year. Again, this year has been a whirlwind for me, but I'm encouraged by it. I got a lot of travel coming up, so I changed my hair because I don't want to have to deal with all the hours of hair maintenance for the week, for the month. But again, I know that about myself. So again, I'm trying to be very intentional with what I do and not waiting until I'm at the end of my rope to decide what do I need to do differently. So again, if that has blessed you, if that has given you any new insights, feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know what part of this video resonated most with you. I'm always so happy to know that there are people out there like you who are watching this video, who are getting value from these videos. If you are not subscribed to this video, I to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the future videos, and let me know how can I support you best. If you have any questions for me, feel free to drop them down below, and I will talk to you in the very next video. Bye.